Atlanta, Jermaine Dupri, you link up with JD,
Yeah.
and what makes JD so good at his job?
You know, creative. He's extremely creative. And he's mindful of the artist that he's working with. He spends the time that is necessary to understand how to tell the artist story. He spends the time making certain that he understands the cadence as he writes. He's one of the world's greatest writers. I mean, you don't get no better, bruh. Like somebody who has like multiple skills as a writer, as an artist, as a creative, whether it's fashion, whether it's lifestyle, cool, incredibly emotional when it comes to knowing how to pin it, because he listens to every word. He manages to get out of the way too. That's another thing. It's about him because it's about his interpretation. And the interpreter always wins, but his ability to not make it about just him. He makes it about his artist. He's able to then say, all right, I'm gonna breathe life into this artist who's trying to find their way. Now, what you do with it, whether you dance or you rap or you go into movies or you do other things, that's how you keep going. But he really does understand the art of artistry, the art of being able to see the greatest things and pull the best things out.
Confessions.
Yeah.
Everybody thought Confessions was about you. Like you was just confession. You went to a confessional, but it was about him.
Well, no.
It was about you?
No, it was a collect. By the way, we made an album and we as men sat around like this. We were having real conversations, real talk, as a matter of fact. Mark Pitts, myself, JD. There's a couple of cats in the room that was going through this situation. I ain't trying to put nobody on blast, but I'm just saying, we all were having a conversation about this thing that was happening. And it ain't the first time that it happened. But here's an opportunity for me to be able to tell that story in a way where everybody could relate to it. It wasn't just me, JD, it was everybody.
It was everybody at that table was going through something.
Yo, by the way, I tell you no lies, everybody was going through some portion of what we were talking about in that studio.
Is Confessions the album that Usher's a bona fide superstar? He's here to stay. He ain't no flash in the pan. He's not here today, gone tomorrow. Usher Raymond is here, and you will forever remember this man's name.
You gotta tell me, bro.
Yeah,
You think so?
I think that's your greatest.
That's the greatest?
Yeah.
Body of work, 8701.
Oh no, okay. You see,
Okay.
when you put it like that, 8701.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's great that I could even have
If you could sing one album, if you only had to sing one album, and you couldn't sing, you got a lot of them, but you got to sing one for the next year and only one. What you rocking with?
Man, that's a hard one, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna rock with Confessions. Because I'm right. It's well-rounded, but I mean, just saying this, like between those two albums, I think that it would definitely have to be based off of success. It would have to be Confessions, yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, Diamond, Crazy, Sexy, Cool, Whitney Houston, Thriller. Bro, you get the Diamond, ain't a whole lot of diamonds out there.
There has been no other Diamond since in this genre.
That make you feel good, doesn't it?
It's a good thing to have, you know what I'm saying? But also too, it's a bit of a thing, right? Because you're then aiming at that. And I never wanted to get caught up in what I've done in the past so much that I can't focus on where I am. Because the success has changed, right? If we, could count success by how many albums you actually sold, they don't sell albums in that way as a physical copy where we get on a line, we stand outside of Tower Records, you did it, right? I did it too, you know what I'm saying? And we got that album. We weren't like quick ordering that joint or either just clicking at a button and it's just there. So yeah, it's like the measure of success has to change in life. And by the way, this is important because if you don't do that, you manage to get caught in your mind and the psychological damage that could happen if you don't reach the same goal makes you feel as though you're not a success. That's not true. There's just always a different shift. Yo, I remember when, Vince Carter was jumping out the gym, bro. He shifted his whole game and three crazy. Still can jump if he wanted to, but them ankles, you know what I'm saying? They
ain't gonna.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So it's about, those are the people that I look up to, bro.
You said something very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people say this about Michael, is that he kept trying to replicate the success that he had with Thriller. And Dirty Diana was a great album. It sold 8 million copies and subsequent albums that came out after that. But it wasn't Thriller. And it drove him to a point that if it didn't do 30 million, 40 million, 60 million copies, he didn't feel like it was successful. You said, I got in my mind early on that if I don't do the physical number that Confessions did, I'm okay with that. How were you able to do that, Usher? Because we're measured by our success. Because people judge you by what you did as a younger you. Yeah. They don't compare you to anybody else that's in your genre currently. They compare you to a younger you.
Well, they shouldn't. What?
Come on with it, Usher. Come on with it. See, I know I get it out of y'all. See what he's saying? Y'all better leave that man alone. Y'all keep on talking about y'all the king of this and king of that. No. I'm sitting with the king right here.
You know, I'll just tell you two things on King Talk, right?
Okay.
But the Confessions, right? Again, if you are living by the applause, you will die by the boos. T.I. told me that. Yeah. And it's spot on. It is. If you live for the applause, you're gonna die by the boos. You gotta do what you gotta do. And you gotta make your offering as clear as it could potentially be, because it's gonna serve at least one person. Because that's why we really do it, right? We do it because we wanna offer something that's gonna be the right dialogue or the right help or the right moment or a right service to whatever needed to happen in that moment, the celebration, the love making, the baby making, the ability to be emotional and finally be able to say what you really mean to this person. You know, be true to that. Right. If you start to chase the success in that same way, it could drive you crazy. Right. The only way that I was able to do that is to focus on other things. To focus on building longitude, latitude, right? I got to build more space. Let's take this thing that I got, my perspective, and I want to introduce some other artists. I want to try and let me go fail at some other things and get great at that, right? Because you peak in some ways, and then you figure out something else to work on. And then you peak at that, and you figure out something else, you peak at that.
But how are you able to have such success and willing to go try something that you might fail at? I mean, once you become successful, you're like, I kind of like this. I ain't really trying to fail, so I kind of want to stay. I'm going to come and stay where I'm at. But you're willing to go outside. It's like, okay, let me try to be a producer. Let me try to discover talent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it also, too, honestly, became a bit of a reckless thing for me, because I think some of the actions that I had taken, some of the decisions that I had made began to sabotage me. And it may have been personal sabotage because I just wanted some idea of normalcy. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be able to get back to normal. I wanted to be able to have like a little bit. I didn't look at it the same way. Like, yo, I gotta go. Like we're now, you know, we're getting ready to take off. Now I want to go to the moon. Get to the moon. I want to go to the sun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nah, I think that in some way I started to figure like I need to move things around and maybe move things. And some steps didn't help me. Some things that I did were not right. Some decisions I made, you know, hey, but I live with them all too, by the way. And I'm okay with that. That's the only way that I was able to get through it. I actually enjoy being in a position where I'm a bit of an underdog and I got to fight my way back up to the top. I love for you to say, oh, it's over. I love for you to say, oh, no, he ain't going to do it again. Oh, no, it can't happen. No, that right there is motivation, because that means I got some place to go. I got some place to grow. I
mean, you were the first artist in the 2010s to collect 3 #1 singles in 3 consecutive decades. The 90s, Nice and Slow, You Make Me Wanna.
Yep.
You Make Me Wanna, Lead a Wanna. My Way. And then 2000, You Remind Me. You Got It Bad. You Don't Have to Call Me. Yeah, Burn, Confessions Part 2. And then 2010, OMG, There Goes My Baby, Climax.
Hits.
I mean.
We got hits.
Yes!
Got some hits, bruh.
I mean, you were landing more punches than Mayweather.
Yeah.
When will you go back and sit back? I mean, or do you take the time like?
This is it. That's what's happening right now. I'm actually sitting back and enjoying all of the labor of that. That's the moment I'm in right now. I'm in that moment of really enjoying the hard work. Now, I don't get a lot of sleep, but I think that that's just the reality of who I am as a person, because I love to work and I love to create. But I'm enjoying it finally. I'm able to, because I've always been of service to people. Rather, I'm offering something.
Right.
And whether they like it or not is really up to them, not up to me.
Right.
But I like that. That actually makes me feel good. But now I get a chance to actually enjoy what I am creating, enjoy what I have created.
What's your favorite decade? I mean, 90s,
I
2000s,
think
2010s?
somewhere in the 70s, like being motivated by that and then bringing that forward.
Right.
Because so many incredible artists were born in that time or created in that moment. Living in the 90s, I say it was a grand moment for all of us because it was a mixture between R&B and hip hop and in a way that felt, it felt sensational. By the way, even in the South, because the South, it didn't have as much of a definition, but through the 90s and then on to the 2000s, you then began to understand, organized noise, Jermaine Dupri, Little John, incredible producers out of the South, began to really, really have a moment. But I really do think that it's something in the 70s, bro. Like the artists that came out of the 70s were incredible.
If you could have, I'm gonna give you 3. If you could perform with 3, collab with 3 artists from the 70s, who would it be?
If I could collab with them in the 70s?
In the 70s.
Oh, it would have been Quincy Jones.
Okay.
It would have been out of Philly. Gamble and Huff. Let me see. Who else? 70s. I think I said the 2. That actually is so strong.
I thought you was talking about artists that you would have liked to perform with.
Oh, perform with?
Yes, an artist you want to collab with.
Oh, artist to collab with? Man, it would have been great to do something with, like, Diana Ross. Would have been great to do something with, Donny Hathaway. Would have been great to do something with Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Give me a Mount Rushmore of R&B singers. Mount Rushmore. You only get 4, Usher. So, I mean, I've had people on here, they try to get 5. Stevie Wonder.
Let me see. Donny Hathaway, Whitney Houston. Ooh. I said Stevie Wonder, right?
You said Stevie
Okay,
first.
I put him on twice. He's
Okay.
Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye.
Didn't I just tell you had 4?
I'm sorry. I'm so okay. So I can't take Michael out for Marvin? Oh, come on now.
You look at Michael as R&B?
Do I? You don't?
I mean, I thought he was the king of pop.
But man, he created a format that R&B was like, here's an interesting thing, right? Kings, right?
Yes.
I think all of those guys are kings.
Right.
I think that we get so caught up on being the number one king person, right?
Yeah.
To have that title to be the king.
Because normally you only got one king. You got a king and a queen. You got a lot of princes. You can be a lot of princes, but you can only have one king, Usher.
You can only have one king, one queen, but you can only have one Usher, baby. And Usher, you know what I'm saying? He get the ceremony right. He come out white glove service, baby. You know what I'm saying? We gonna deliver. Nah, hold on. But greater than being a king or either saying I want to have that one spot, what I see is needed is a kingdom.
Okay.
Right? So when I look at all of the genres of music, I see EDM and I look at festivals and I look at the lifestyle, the equipment. I look at, country music. I think boots. I think cowboys. You know what I'm saying? I think chaps. I think cowboy hats and rodeos and all kind of stuff like that. I think pickups. You know what I'm saying? There's a culture there, right? There's a kingdom to this idea. There's a monetization of that thing. R&B or either the genre that I came from, I don't think it possesses the same weight in terms of the other ancillary businesses that are there. And that's what I'm focused on. We gonna be all kings, matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? There's tons of people who put in the work. I ain't the only person that's been put in them 1,000 hours. And I don't know or profess to be the only king. Am I the king of what I feel? Yeah, I am. Every day I wake up feeling like a king. You know what I'm saying? And I work hard to be that king, but I want a kingdom. I want us to be able to have the same potency in hip hop, right? When I think of hip hop, I think of what you're drinking. I think about the glasses you're wearing. I think about the shoes you got on. I think about, the records. I think about that culture. I think about the clothes you're wearing, right? I want the same thing. I want that kingdom for R&B in that same way.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because we like to do something before two something.